Welcome back to the TRP. We've got an unemployed guest today. No?
Hi guys, welcome back to the Talking Reality podcast. In today's episode, we are discussing Michael's lack of empathy and compassion. Hi Michael.
Was that the intro?
That's the intro, yeah.
Lack of compassion for what?
You know exactly what. So,
You getting sacked?
well, no,
What do you and Steven Gerrard have in common?
we've both been sacked. Listen, right?
You were ripping Gerrard for getting sacked
No,
at Villa.
I wasn't. I was
Yes,
ripping
you
you.
was.
I was ripping you. Anyway, bit of context, right? So, what was it? 2 weeks ago,
Your stock went down.
my stock did go down.
Worse than my Tesla stock.
I'm not sure about that, but obviously I called.
That's
No, I
true.
texted you, didn't I, 2 weeks ago? And then I said, "Oh, mate, bit of shit news." What are you laughing for, mate?
You know, on those surveys,
What surveys?
you got. No, carry on.
Go on.
No. I'm not going to be harsh. Just tell the story.
Okay, so I text Michael saying, "All right, mate, just lost my job, like." And then you were like, "What happened?" Like, I think you were in uni at a point. And I thought, yeah, and I said, "Oh, just give me a ring or whatever when you can." And then Michael calls me up, and he just goes, "You're getting sacked in the morning, sacked in the morning."
There's a reason for that, though.
What?
Because you were laughing at Steven Gerrard for getting sacked at Villa.
All right, so this is retaliation.
And now
is
you're
it?
both in the same boat. You're both down Job Centre Plus, you know?
I don't think Gerard's down Job Centre Plus because he would have got a nice, tasty, fee from.
Just tell the story, man.
Well, I'm trying to. Anyway, right. So yeah, this episode is about something that a lot of people experience, right? And I think it's something that's it's quite difficult, man, because unless you experience it, it's hard to know how to deal with it. So like just getting released from a job. So let me set the scene.
Talk us through it.
So I was writing my dissertation, just finished all my exams in uni, and I took this job. It was well paid, to be fair. I'm not going to sit there and say it was my dream role, because it wasn't. It was an office-based role, but it was well paid, and it was, I worked with some really cool people, and it was all right, But unfortunately, I did have to take quite a bit of time off, mostly due to my studies, right, within this sort of 12-week period of my probation. And I guess there's a degree where the employer could argue I wasn't necessarily completely transparent about that. And like transparency works both ways. More often than not, the company tell you what they want you to know. And I guess the employee usually tells the company what they want them to know.
So you were taking some time off to do your dissertation.
Basically, yeah.
Did your manager know about that? I'm assuming not.
My individual manager did, yes. But above that, not so much, no.
Okay.
And anyway, so I had one meeting. Realistically, what I should have done is take holiday. That would have been sensible because I had days of holiday.
Difficult though if you've just started a new job.
Yeah, it is.
You're going to be in
I
your
think you
probation
feel this,
period.
Well, you feel this need to impress, don't you?
Yeah.
And realistically, I was also consciously aware that when you're spinning two plates, like, because there's the student version of my life and there's the employee version of my life, and they didn't sort of like balance each other out. At times, you need to put.
Well, they won't, will they? Because most employers want your schedule to cater to their needs, not the other way around.
Yeah, but
so it's always going to be difficult to find room
understandably
to do
so.
both.
They're paying you a salary.
Of course, yeah. That's the nature of business, isn't it?
And I think that it's quite rare to get an employer, that kind of wants to see you really grow on a personal level. Like, I think that's quite rare. I think usually most employers, in my experience, want yes men or yes women that kind of come in and you'll do whatever they expect of you for usually, like you've said before, as cheap as they can possibly pay you. But anyway, so
Well, that's just a natural conflict, though, isn't it?
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Employers and employees.
But anyway, so I'm in work one day. I finished my dissertation 3 or 4 days prior, so I'm in a I'm in a bouncy mood, right? I'm driving to work that day.
Bouncy mood.
Yeah, I'm bouncy, man. I'm happy.
Were you closing the fridge with your hips?
No, I wasn't closing the fridge with my hips. Why are you stealing people's comments off a True Geordie YouTube video? Get your own.
It's like
Get your own.
I can picture you doing that, man. There's a fridge right over there.
All right, well, I can film that afterwards if you like. Anyway, so going to work. I'm driving to work across the Severn Bridge, and there's some bangers playing on Kiss. I'm in a good mood, man. And I get to work, and like the regional manager, I think that's his
playing
title.
on Kiss.
Yeah, what's wrong with Kiss, man?
Was it 11 o'clock? Were you late?
No, it was in the morning.
Oh. What Kiss Street starts at 11, does it?
It wasn't Kiss Street, mate.
Oh,
it was
carry
Kiss. I stopped derailing my story, please. Anyway, so I get to work. I'm in a good mood, man. I'm
just checking it's authentic, that's all.
All right, can you stop?
All right,
You're interrupting me now. And you know how my little brain works, so I can't be interrupted, yeah? So I get to work. I'm in a good mood. I finally caught up my sleep because whilst I was doing my dissertation, I wasn't really sleeping. And I'm feeling good. And then the regional manager's in, like all of a sudden, I get an email saying, oh, can we make sure the office is all looking presentable? Blah, blah, blah. And I think, yeah, okay, sweet. You know, met the guy probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. More often than not, not going to lie, I wasn't a big fan of his. But I think, okay, well, usually there's forewarning while he's coming in, but there's no warning. So I thought, I don't know, there must be something going on. Well, anyway, he comes in, doesn't really say much to anybody, sits on his laptop. And then about an hour into him being there in the morning, he just goes, well, first of all, he'd taken my manager off to have a conversation. He didn't even actually notice, but I was just there doing my work.
You knew it was going down at that point, right?
I didn't know anything.
Oh.
No, I genuinely didn't, mate.
You didn't think anything of it?
No. And then about half an hour later, after he's had the conversation with her, he goes, Nathan, can we have a word, please? I was like,
is that how you said it?
Yeah, just very like...
What, like blunt?
Blunt, yeah. Nathan, can we have a word, please? Like, not, just like, yeah, just let's go. So we go into his little room, and he spends the first 3 minutes not saying a word to me. Like, he sat there talking to the manager, and I could see he was oozing nervous energy. And I was just like...
Sorry.
That's all right, mate.
So, DMs are going off. Sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, he was just oozing nervous energy. And I just thought, well, first of all, it was a bit rude, call someone into a meeting and you just sat there having small talk with the manager. But he's quite red, looked a bit flustered.
Is he a big bloke?
He's tall.
Bigger than you?
Why is that relevant? Without having him next to me. He's bigger than you. I know that for sure. Because your stock's gone down in that regard. Anyway, yeah, so he's sitting there like...
I'm not going to say anything about that. The viewers can pick that one up. Carry on.
All right. Anyway,
the reason I say that is because some managers like to give it extras, and I think if you were a manager, you'd be going in there with the tightest shirt on, right, and doing your power poses that you got off YouTube, right?
Correct.
And giving extras. That's why I asked.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't, because, and I'll go into why I wouldn't. But cut a long story short. So he sits there and he just goes, Nath, I'm not gonna bullshit you. Like, it's not great news. And obviously they'll be sitting and have a bit of a back and forth. And I don't want to go into the individual.
Did it get heated?
To some extent, but I don't want to get into the individual nature of what was specifically said because it's a private conversation. But my issue was, and my issue with like companies or individuals within companies who treat people this way, is that culture of like he completely and utterly lacked any form of compassion and empathy at that moment, right? Just calls me in and basically says, pack your bags and fuck off. He didn't actually say fuck off, but like, and then go back into the office, say fucking sayonara to my colleagues.
On a serious note, how did that feel though, having to walk back in and clear like your desk?
Honestly, there was an element of embarrassment and an element of shame.
Yeah.
Naturally, I think I don't really care how big and confident you think you are. Most people would feel, because it was the shock factor. That was what it was. I was so shocked. I did not expect it, right? And within the space of like, fucking, I just boiled a kettle to make my coffee. The fucking kettle's boiled, and I'm packing my bag to go home. Like, Do you know what I mean? I'm in the car.
Could you feel everyone looking at you?
Yeah. And do you know what? Like, realistically, man, like, and this is what my ego keeps like telling me this. You didn't want the job anyway. You didn't want the job anyway. And ultimately, there's an element of that that's true. I wanted the money, if I'm honest, but it wasn't my dream role. And I think there's a lot of people that can relate to that, like just being in a job just for the money, because
A lot of people, yeah.
circumstances in your life dictate that.
For sure, man.
So I can relate to that element. But it was just the way that, you know, if it was me and I was in that guy's position, I would have, first of all, had a conversation maybe to try and dissect what's gone on, why I'd had a bit of time off. And do you know what? I don't necessarily disagree with the guy's decision, but there was an element of me that sat there, and it appeared that this guy had a sense of, almost looked like he enjoyed doing it. Like, he loved the power.
Some managers do, man.
Yeah, it was, and I think anyone can relate to that, or a lot of people can relate to that. That sort of like mid-level managers.
Did you give it like the Alan Sugar?
Yeah.
Was it a proper like thrust forward?
Actually, he did thrust forward. The one thing I would say though, that was that sticks in my mind, is the guy wouldn't keep eye contact with me, and all the way through that situation, he oozed nervous energy. And my manager was stood next to me, and she looked, like, I would say, visibly upset. Not upset. That's probably over exaggeration, but I just uncomfortable. She looked uncomfortable with this, and she walked back out and she said, "I did not agree with what he just did. I didn't agree with the decision. And if he sees this one day, I apologize if, like, whatever, you know, she gets. I mean, I don't actually know, because nobody should agree with that, because what he did, it wasn't respectful. Just go and pack your stuff. Like, there's a respectful way to do things, and there's a disrespectful way to do things, in my opinion. And you know, he could have come at the end of the day. So I wouldn't have had to sort of like come out in front of everybody in the middle of the day. Just no regard to, one day he might be in a position like that himself.
Yeah.
Life is not plain sailing.
It can happen to anyone, man.
Exactly. And I think, you know, ultimately, I think when you treat someone that way, I think you open the doors of possibility to the fact that you may be treated that way one day. And that's why I think people need to be conscious, you know, especially if there's like managers out there, like, you're in a position of, like, you do have a sense of, you know, you impact people's lives, don't you? And I think if I wasn't, you know, if I hadn't have been experienced some of the things I have in life, I might have reacted far more negatively to this situation than I have. But I think, you know, I'm not gonna lie, first few days I did feel a bit shit. I think because with me, rejection is not something I take well to. I think most people can relate to that. I don't think anyone particularly enjoys being rejected, even if you're being rejected by a person or an organization that you don't naturally feel a sense of, you know.
Or Tinder.
Well, that's a different form of rejection, isn't it?
You got a lot of experience in that.
Yes, mate. Yeah, women reject me all the time. Are you?
I'm just joking, trying to keep it lighthearted, you know.
All right, mate. No, that's fair. Yeah.
Somber, you know, subject. But what was I going to say? Ultimately, those managers, they're in a position where they can either build you up or break you down.
100%.
And I think a lot of those managers, in many jobs, tend to not be transparent with you on your opportunities and what we could turn you into, because they want to keep you there for like the long haul, don't they? Because
what he said was
it's not convenient for them to have to keep replacing people. It costs a lot to train. Like, even you would have had some kind of training, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And that will cost money. So if
And
they
don't
can
get
keep
me wrong,
people down there at a low level, then it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Like I said, I do understand their decision, and I don't necessarily disagree with it. And the company, I haven't really got a bad word to say about the company. I haven't. That individual, though, I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think that perhaps he's just someone that lacks empathy and compassion, maybe. And I think, you know, I'm just raising awareness of this, because I think there's certain people that could go through that and it could have a really negative impact upon them.
For sure, man.
You know, and I think it's just about people appreciating if you are in a position like that, where you've got a lot of people underneath you in a company, I think you've got more of a responsibility to just be a decent human being, man. And I would personally not just get someone in there, lack any empathy and compassion in my delivery of that news, and then just say, "Right on your bike, mate," and just that, fuck you, basically. Like I wouldn't
but
personally
is that
do
partly
that.
down to the numbers that pass through those companies? Because you think, like
Potentially.
anything in life, right? If there's like an abundance of it, you treat it differently. So I know, like, we keep talking about Tinder, because that keeps going off, so it's on my mind. But on Tinder, there's an abundance of women that you could meet. Yeah, so that's why everyone's replaceable, and it's the same with companies and recruitment. There's an abundance of people out there that need a job. There's only a certain amount of jobs going, so perhaps it's just a product of that. If he's seen so many faces, it's going to be hard to have that sort of compassion for every single person. That could be one reason why he's like that.
Definitely. And I think, it's not about me sitting here saying...
You're going to become desensitized if you have to do it over and over again. Like, if you're a
Absolutely.
surgeon, right, and you're operating on, like, cancer patients, and some of them die and some of them don't, eventually it's just going to become, like, almost robotic. And
I think
your feelings will be desensitized to that situation. Whereas your first patient, you might have went at home and cried for ages. It could have been really traumatic.
Absolutely agree with you.
But then it could be some people that feel compassion every single time they got to let someone go, so
I agree with you. I think the reason why I raised the point, though, is because when you behave that way, right, an element of complacency can seep in, right?
Yeah.
And if I was somebody who was a vengeful person, there's things I could do to sort of think, because I do feel like that guy was disrespectful to me in that meeting. I really do. And obviously that situation's left me in a bit of an economical sort of place of vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, if he'd been respectful in that setting, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I honestly wouldn't. But just respect's a big thing, I think. And like I said, complacency can seep in, and I think if you continue to treat people that way, one day it's going to bite you, man. It will. Someone's going to post something on. We know what social media is like.
A lot of vindictive people out there.
Yeah, but you know what social media is like. And then someone posts something about the company or posts something about him as an individual on LinkedIn or
yeah, they're on that stuff fast, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, realistically, like I said, I don't think the guy's a bad guy, and I don't necessarily disagree with the decision, but I disagree with the way in which he did it. And I think that, it's just a case of, like, I don't know, there's always learning opportunities in life, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? For people to, maybe, I'd love him to see it and just kind of see this podcast and just be like, I doubt you will. I very much doubt you will. But, and just be like, do you know what? That's a learning opportunity. We all have them every day of our lives. It's just we don't always take them on board.
Yeah. So how, like, the day after then that you've been released, how did that feel? Were you, like, applying for jobs straight away, or?
Mate, I had a job in an hour, and that's the
beauty of technology, though.
That's the beauty of technology. But I mean, it wasn't a job I necessarily wanted. But I'm just saying that there's opportunities out there, isn't there? Like, I came home straight away, and I was on Indeed. But
that's a good point, because a lot of these companies, they make out like this is the biggest and best opportunity you'll ever have. So do not fuck it up. Like, that's kind of what they drill into you. So if you do get released, then for some people that's going to be mentally challenging.
I think that
there's break some people.
That's definitely an interesting point to raise. That yeah, like, if you do lose your job, it's not the end of the world. Like, and I know it can.
No, but there's
in
like
that moment it can seem like it, though.
But also there's always been this, like, culture of, like, oh, don't get sacked from your job, because then you have a gap in your CV and then you won't be able to get another job and you won't be able to get a good reference and all of this. But I think that in 2022 is just obsolete, isn't it? Because now, like, you've just done, like, you've gone on LinkedIn or whatever, or Indeed. I don't know
that it's obsolete, because I think
it depends what industry you're in.
What job
if you're in a professional job, then yes, that can have a huge impact.
And it does depend what you've been released for. Like if there's an element of something like, say, gross misconduct.
Oh, of
and that's got-
course, but I'm talking about like in your situation
Yeah,
where it's been
yeah.
like sickness or absence, then that shouldn't be the barrier to stop you going to get another job in another law firm.
No, I think that if there's a genuine element of, you can sit there and rationalize it and explain to people
Yeah.
what's happened. And do you know what? Like, I feel like people. One thing I've learned from it is I need to be more transparent, because I felt like, I don't want to sit there and say I might need to take a bit of time off, because it's not a great way to sell yourself in an interview, or it's a great way to sell yourself when you're first starting in a company. But actually, if
Yeah,
I've
but
been,
aren't interviews kind of fake anyway?
of course
'Cause
they are.
you're just painting the
Course they
best
are.
version of yourself.
Of course you are.
You jump in the hoops. It's the same questions in different variations. The desert island one. And, what item would you take? I mean, come on, man. That's what they ask, though, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
So the whole thing's
Because
like
it's actually such an irrational question, because you would never, ever, ever be in that position. You may well be on a desert island. You may well be stranded at sea. But who the fuck's going to be there with 40 items saying, which one do you want, Shag?
exactly.
It's never going to happen.
It's
But
a load of nonsense.
yeah, so I suppose they are actually quite an irrational way of judging a person.
Yeah, and to think like that's the formula to get the best employee, the best fit for my company, when actually the person who's answering those questions probably isn't being truthful anyway. They're just telling you what they think you want to hear,
Yeah,
just to get the job, I guess.
that's what it is, mate. Yeah, they tell you what they want you to know, and then the employee, and really, it's just such a, when you think about it, it's actually bizarre,
Yeah,
because it really does lack transparency.
but then I think working for someone in general is kind of bizarre, because like I'm not saying like the manager that you dealt with was a bad guy, but in roles that I've been in, I've dealt with managers that you can tell they're going to be a prick because they can, right? So they want to abuse their power, but then you look at them and you think, well, physically you're not superior to me. Intellectually,
So you want to
you're
scrap
not
him in the
superior. No. Let me finish. You start ticking off these things, and then you're like, if we were in any other situation, you wouldn't speak to me like that. But they feel comfortable and confident in their safe place, which is the office, right? To speak to you
with the note taker.
With the note taker, backup dancer, right? And then they feel comfortable, don't they, to speak down to you or whatever. I mean, you've been in some of my meetings, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
We've worked for the same company at one time, and
no, but
we were both in that meeting, and so you've seen it firsthand, man.
You make a fair point, and I thought that at the time. I did think, like, the way that guy spoke to me, as much as I don't think he's a bad guy, I think he's actually genuinely, I think maybe outside of work and maybe not in that position, he's probably a very pleasant human being. I just think in that setting.
But can you see what I'm saying though? Like it doesn't feel natural to me to follow like orders or be spoken to in a certain way by someone
you don't respect.
Yeah. So I think the whole idea of working for certain people it doesn't feel right.
But I think you almost
all artificial, isn't it?
It is, but you almost have to take it on the chin, man.
Because to get to where you want to be, of course you do.
Yeah, you have to just kind of accept it as it is. But what I would say is one thing that I think that there may be some people who listen to this who have been sacked, may well be sacked one day, or just they'll have termination of employment in some way, shape, or form, and afterwards there is a real sense of, I think that two things I felt initially, then maybe just subconsciously, man, was like shame and embarrassment.
Yeah,
and it's irrational to feel that, because like I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, why did I lose that job? Because I prioritized my education. And
yeah, as long as you haven't done anything like punched a manager in the face or sent inappropriate pictures to someone in work or something like
as
like
long as there's not gross misconduct,
right? Then you shouldn't feel this sense of guilt or embarrassment or shame, like if you're kicked out of that company.
Well, yeah.
But you still
we're programmed that way, though, aren't we? We're programmed to believe that if I tell someone I've lost my job, and it's why makes me uncomfortable about telling people. So I just post it on the internet instead.
Yeah.
No, but what makes you feel uncomfortable is someone assumes you've done something wrong,
yeah, they automatically put you in a box of like you're problematic. Why is he incapable of going to work and everything that comes with it? So there's an assumption. But I think sometimes losing your job can be a blessing. Like I've been sacked before in the first job that I ever had, right? And that was because I challenged the site manager and called him out on a few things that I saw that weren't like right. And it got, the argument got heated, and I was only like 18 at the time. If we'd have had that meeting now, I would have cleaned him out because I'm a different animal now. Right? But back then I was young and dumb.
What animal are you now?
Well, you'll find out when the camera comes off.
Will I?
Yeah.
In what context?
Hey, where are you going with this?
I'm asking, you said you're a different animal. I'd like to know what animal you are.
Look, all you got to do...
You're a little koala bear.
Have a look on my Instagram. Listen,
I'm joking, man. You are.
The point I'm making is when you're young and you're impressionable, right, and you get sacked from your job, you feel like a piece of shit, man.
Oh, you do, man.
And you feel lost, and you feel like where do I go from here? Yeah. But actually, that was a blessing for me because I went back to education, right, and I've gone on this journey now to get to where I am now.
And you've grown hugely.
Yeah, and I would never ever go back and think, oh, that's my future now. Stuck in a menial job. So the guy actually did me a favour by getting us into that argument, because I could have been stuck there 5, 10, 15, 20 years and just become part of the furniture.
I agree with you, but I think one of the things that just kind of I wish would be little bit different in like the work environment is that manager that you worked under, like people like that, they have the opportunity to lift people up. They have the opportunity to help people grow. They have the opportunity to like have a really positive impact in other people's lives, which is going to have a positive impact in theirs. But more often than not, they always just want to, I think, project their insecurities onto people. That's what comes...
yeah, but that, like, going back to that company, that's, in my view, 100% what it was. I personally think that site manager had underachieved in his life. I knew
he's getting violated here.
I knew he had a brother who was quite successful, right? Because he had like pictures of him on the wall in the office, so I was quite aware of that. And I think he felt inferior, and to make himself feel superior, what's he going to do? He's going to take it out on a load of 18-year-old kids, really, that worked the shop for him, and that makes him feel a bit better. But you're right; he could have used that opportunity to build us up, but he didn't.
And in the process, build himself up.
Of course, yeah. But when you're dealing with a manager who's like narcissistic in that way, then it's never going to be a good outcome for you if you're under that and you're having to deal with that, day to day. And he wasn't very nice to people across the board, really. He definitely had like a chip on his shoulder, and I always think like, if I was to have that conversation with him again, I would say, you're probably being like this because it wasn't your dream to be a manager of a place like this. It just wasn't. And I don't know what you would say to that, because I think he'd be looking at the reality. He'd have to look in the mirror.
Well, it's like I was talking to a PT client of mine last night, and just talking about the element that people are so uncomfortable with criticism. They're so uncomfortable with it, and you're right. I think if you...
Because you have to look in the mirror. Like, eventually you do. It's like, if you're smashing World of Warcraft, right? Online games for 15 years, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Gaz said, you have to keep going. Because if you don't, then you got to look in the mirror and go, fuck, I've wasted 15 years on Monster Energy drink, bags of Doritos, and a game that doesn't mean anything.
Well, going back to what you're saying, because even with me, like, I've got to accept some criticism myself. I can't place all the negativity of that situation on that manager.
Yeah.
Like, he was right to say what he said. Like, you've come in, you've signed up to a contract, and you haven't met your element of the contract. And I think I was in a... Listen, I could sit here and be, like, paint the picture and make myself sound like a fucking angel, but... What was I doing?
Yeah.
Granted, I was doing a dissertation.
No one's believing that.
No, but I was doing a dissertation and I was trying to improve myself.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I just got stuck working full time because it was long hours, and then trying to finishing work and then working till midnight doing this dissertation. I just got a bit lost in it all. And ultimately, if I'd been transparent at the start of my journey with that company, I may not be in this position. So there's definitely a huge lesson for me to learn.
Yeah, it's
it's uncomfortable because like you said, you've got to look in the mirror and you got to say, do you know what? I'm not a fucking perfect human being. No one is, and I've got my flaws. And like I said, there's opportunity for lessons all the time in life if you just open your eyes and if you just look at yourself.
Yeah, but that's partly why I took the piss out of you when you lost your job, because you can either laugh about it and move on as you've done. You've got back in the saddle and applied for jobs and got another job, or you can sit there and cry and feel sort of victimized, which maybe rightfully or wrongfully, depending on what built up to losing your job. But there's no benefit in that either way.
No. I think it's all a mindset, really, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's like I went to a job assessment day the other day, and I thought it was just a job interview. Not gonna lie, I turned up. I thought it's an hour-long thing, and I walk in and there's like 30-odd people, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And it was like, there's a lot of people there. I'm not gonna lie, people who probably more qualified for the role than me, people who more experienced than me,
yeah,
a bit older than me. And I sort of sat there, and I've been down in confidence the last sort of week or two, understandably so. But I just thought, fuck this. I know I'm capable of,
Was you an animal?
I wasn't an animal, but I know I can do well in this environment.
Not my level.
Not your level, no. I'm not the same koala bear as you.
Check my Instagram.
Stop trying to blow your Instagram on here, man. No one wants to look at it, son. They've all already seen it. Because you fucking post a podcast about 50 times a day on it. It gets about fucking 4 views. So moving swiftly on.
Sorry for saturating your feed, guys.
What was I saying? This is what you do. You derail my.
You went to playgroup. You were the oldest there. Carry on.
No, I went to a job assessment day.
Oh, job assessment. Sorry.
And to be fair, I'm not gonna lie, I got offered a job and I got some unbelievably positive feedback at the end of the day. I was there for like 8-9 hours, and I started the day really low on confidence because I was speaking to this guy and I was like, wow, this guy's like really confident. He's got a bit about him. Like, he'd come all the way from London, looked apart, looked dapper, and there's me in my half-ironed shirt.
Peacocks.
That was actually...
That's another endorsement.
River Island. Nice. No, they do nice shirts, actually.
They're gone, aren't they? Oh, sorry, that's Topshop. Carry on.
Yeah, but I think, once you... The problem is that once you go through something like negative like that, and I'm in a rejection, your confidence just like seeps. And it's you portray it like physically, in your mannerisms, the way you communicate with people. But I just don't know what happened. Something clicked, and I just thought, fuck this. The first task they asked us to do, they said, right, someone needs to be a team leader. And I thought, fuck this. I'm going to have to take myself out of my comfort zone. And I just said, right, I'll do it. I just got up and did it.
Was you the captain of the ship?
I was the captain of the ship, mate.
Did it sink like Titanic?
No, it did not.
Carry on.
Fucking flowed the ocean, baby.
All right, carry on.
What are you laughing for, mate?
Just carry on, man.
You can't envisage me as the captain.
You've been telling us this playgroup story for too long.
Fucking playgroup.
I've got work at 2, man.
Oh, sorry, bro. Yeah. So yeah, all right. Well, I'm not gonna fucking long the story out. Yeah, did a few fucking tasks and had a few interviews. Got to the end of the day and got some unbelievably positive feedback. Got offered the job.
That's good,
and I
man.
feel like people who, I don't know. I mean, in terms of that specific role, probably were more qualified than me.
Yeah.
Didn't get offered the job, and then you get a confidence boost.
Mm-hmm.
So you go from 2 weeks ago, some people just kind of like making you really sort of like doubt your value as a human being, to then 2 weeks later, someone like lifting you up. And that's how life is, man. It's ups and downs, it's peaks and troughs. So even though like you've lost all your gains at the moment because you've had an operation. No, let me finish. Don't interrupt me. You've lost all your gains at the moment because you've had an operation, which is fair, right? And you're going for
Where's this going?
Going for a period of recovery. When you bounce back, right? When you come out of that period, you might be able to catch up with me.
All I'm saying is, right, you've got a 6 week, or you had a 6 week period, right, where you can actually use that to get ahead of me.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's been no change in the first 2
Well, I
weeks
was
of
doing
that.
a dissertation, mate. I
And
lost
when
my
I
job
saw
for
you
it.
last to now, there's been no change. So now you have 4 weeks. So all I'm saying is use your
You better
time
believe
wisely.
it, mate. In these next 28 days, baby, I'm going to leave you in my rear view mirror. I'm going to smoke you, baby.
I don't want to be in anyone's rear view mirror, thank you.
You're going to be in
You've
a lot
got...
of people's rear view mirror.
What is this
Your
about?
yesterday's news.
Mate, we're losing viewers.
On that bombshell, yeah, that was the podcast today. I think it's just about, if you've been sacked, then it feels shit. I'm not really sure what we've learnt really, but
I think it's a don't always fold. I would say if there's something wrong, don't. It's hard, isn't it? Because you don't want to be problematic, but I think sometimes there's a difference between being direct with someone or versus being aggressive with someone. And the managers, they love this one. They love to say that, oh, you're being aggressive, because that opens the door for them to
do you
go
think
down.
you are being aggressive sometimes?
I'm direct with management.
Yeah.
As you know, I've got a history of that.
Yeah, there's evidence of that. I've actually listened to it.
Yeah, that's not going in the B-roll.
No chance.
No, but don't. What I'm trying to say, don't be afraid to challenge something if something is like categorically wrong in the work environment. But there's a way to articulate that without getting fired.
I just haven't mastered it.
No, you need a few more coaching lessons with me.
Yeah, we have got some coaching booked in.
Well, we did in that one company, didn't we? That we worked together in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had some on-the-job training then.
Did I? Fuck.
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
You were my note taker in the.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, to be fair.
Time to talk.
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
No, it's called Oh, I can't remember what it's called. No, I just think, listen, don't let like employers especially dictate your value. Do not let, like, I know it's easy for me to say, as I'm saying I've been fucking sat there depressed on the sofa for 2 weeks, but
yeah,
I think like I needed that little confidence boost the other day, and yeah, ultimately, like I said, I've learned the lesson, or I'm in the process of learning the lesson. Just be more. You just got to be more transparent. And like, just accept the one constant in life that we've got, the truth. It's the only constant we got in life, man.
very true.
Because this podcast ain't a constant, because they get an episode every 2 months.
It's been a little bit inconsistent, yeah.
Slightly.
But, when you're doing work, degree, everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm not working now, so I should be able to make some podcasts.
Yeah. So there'll be some solo episodes coming.
Yeah. Just me sat there talking to the camera by myself.
In his underpants, eating his cornflakes.
Why you gotta make this weird?
Watching Doctors. On that note.
On that bombshell, thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to give us a like, subscribe, and a follow, and if there's any potential employers out there that are looking for someone who
has integrity, is punctual, is thin.
Yeah, and I would take, just for clarity, if I was going to go on desert island, I would take a flare gun, the food rations, and